We in the studio. We in the studio. With Rob in the studio. In the studio. In the studio. Catch a vibe in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. With Rob in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. Yeah, I'm in the studio with Rob. I need to make the heat flicker. Izzle on it, only thing can make a Rico beat sicker. So listen and get your wisdom. Gemstones on your head. Tub with the OG like Flintstones, good in bed. Rob living a long time and he got something to say. Depending on how you feeling, dog, you might got something to pray. This type of influence that you ain't gotta filter through your liver. We in the studio with Rob. Come let the heat rock simmer.
Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode in the studio with Rob. Guess who I am? Yes, I am. I am that guy. Hey, I just want to say what's up, and I want to welcome back my number 2 here. Yerskis. What's going on, young buck?
Feeling good, feeling great. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm good.
Glad to hear it.
Hey, we're glad to be back in the studio, producing something new for you guys. We got a new episode that we're gonna, come out with you, come to you today, and just talk a little bit about growth, your evolution, But our title for this is gonna be perfect.
The way you are.
The way you are. Perfect. The way you are. But we'll talk about that a little bit. We're gonna get into that. I want you to understand what I'm saying here. And I think one of the things that when we talk about, perfect, being perfect, one, there is no perfection. You are not perfect. You will not be perfect while you're on this earth. So, and it's cute to say sometimes when we talk to our kids and you're trying to build up their self-esteem, and it's cute and to say it. Not true though. And we also, what we don't want to do when we say stuff like that is get them stuck in complacency, thinking that I'm perfect, or you believe in you perfect, so therefore you don't have to grow. You shouldn't be learning and evolving, and you should be. For as long as you're on this earth, you should be looking to learn, to grow, and evolve from where you are right now. So if you are one of those people that, are comfortable with who you are, and that's fine. You should be comfortable with who you are or where you are in life. But at the same time, you should also know that there's another level to this. I should be going or becoming more. I tell people all the time, who I am today is nowhere near who I was even 2 years ago. And if you go back 5 or 10 and 20 and all that other stuff, it's crazy the difference in the person that I am and the way that I respond to certain situations. And so the growth in me, the evolution in my responses and my actions has changed. And I hope they continue to change and I continue to grow and become a better person. I want to be better than I am today. In the future, I want to be better. I want to handle things with much more calmness and peace, even than I do today. People will say, oh, things don't bother you, kind of, be chill. Yeah. But there's another level to it that I haven't gotten to. Sometimes because you don't see the little feet running around inside my head or inside my heart when things are happening, you assume that it's just calm. But I want to get to a place where even that has changed and grown, so it really is a more peaceful state that I'm in, and not just the outwardly one that, or like I said, it's better than it was, but it's going to get better. One of the things that we look at, and I think this is where people make their mistakes. You ever heard the saying, Izzle, I've always been this way?
I have.
Yeah, and it's cool. You may have always been that way. Don't mean you should stay that way. You should grow. You should evolve. If you have an anger issue, and even with that, people talk about, people say something to me, I just, I go off, or I can't have people talk to me that way. Unless you go to work. If you really have a job and you love your job, or even, you love the money that they give you for doing your job, when you go to work and people, your boss, or other people say things, you are a lot more thoughtful in the way you respond than you are even at home. At home, you may somebody say something, or out in the world people say something, you go off. You want to show them, I'm all that. I ain't had nobody talk to me like that. How dare her if she's a woman, or you women, y'all got the same issues. Y'all respond differently. But at work, the boss or somebody say something to you, you suck it up and you figure out what's the most politically correct way to respond. So even when you say, I've always been that way, it's probably not that you've always been that way. You choose when you want to be that way.
Nah, I was at work and I got an email I ain't like, so I responded. I was like, who you talking to? And I sent that drawing. CC'd mad supervisors.
You probably sent it to yourself, but again, in order to keep your job, and again, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's the problem. Sometimes people think, and this is we tell, especially young people, sometimes they can't hold down jobs when they're young because they think they have to speak their mind all the time. I'm gonna tell you exactly what I'm feeling, how I'm thinking. You need to work. You need to keep your job. So sometimes you have to figure out how to say things in a respectful, political way in order to maintain your position. And that's okay. That's normal. That's life. So the way when you say, I've always been that way, you really haven't. And you're really not always that way. You choose when you want to. Another thing people say when they talk about other people is they'll say, you know how they are. They just, that's just how they are. Right? You heard that, right, Israel? That's just how they are. Well, again, you being this way, or that's how you've always been, meaning when somebody says something to you, you talk nasty to them, or you ignore them, whatever you do that's kind of out of norm, stop. Don't do it. Don't use that excuse for bad behavior. We shouldn't stop using excuses for our bad behavior, our bad responses, our anger issues, our even, it's like to a certain extent, it was like, well, he's really shy or she's really shy. Okay, that's fine. But there are times when you're going to have to move beyond that. You have to grow to another level in order to accomplish certain things in life. So you can't just use, I've always been that way, or you know how they are, as excuses for not being who you need to be or becoming who you need to become. So there is growth in life, always growth and evolution. We have to keep evolving as people, as individuals. It's going to help you in your relationships. It's going to help you at work. It's going to help you in accomplishing goals at work and accomplishing goals in your educational life, and it's going to help you in your relationship growth. I can't be this way and have a healthy relationship, or I can't be the same way I was when we met 10 years from now, because believe it or not, the other person is going to grow and change. You need to be growing and changing as well. And if you're doing that, it gives that relationship even that much more excitement and joy to know that we're growing and we're still cool with each other. And we're learning these different things together and we're growing together. The worst thing to have is to look back after you've been with this person for 5-10 years and they acting the same way they acted when you first met them. Because I'm telling you, it's not cute. It's not something that you're going to be like, oh yeah, I really am glad she ain't never changed. No, you're not. You want growth. You need growth in your relationships. So you need to learn how to evolve and grow. One of the reasons we struggle with growth sometimes is because we build walls instead of setting boundaries. So what happens is when you build a wall, the wall is there. The wall keeps people out.
Tends to happen with walls.
Say that again?
It does tend to happen with walls.
Yeah, you build a wall. You don't just set a wall. You build a wall. And the wall is usually it is a permanent structure, and it keeps people out, or it keeps you in, or the people with you in. So that's what a wall does. Now, by building up walls, you don't allow things to come in that would sometimes hurt you or help you. And sometimes the hurt can help you. But you're keeping it all out because you're afraid to change and to grow. And you're afraid that if this thing gets in, it's going to hurt me or it's going to do this to me. And not knowing that, look, I just need to set some boundaries on how it comes in. And I need to learn from this thing. I need to figure out, okay, as it comes in, and again, I said set boundaries because boundaries can move. You can set it up here. As you learn and grow and develop, you can move it to another spot. You set boundaries, but don't build walls, people, because you're stopping your growth. Don't be afraid even to be hurt sometimes, because you need to handle how hurt. How you handle hurt will help you grow as well. Because you look, in life, we're gonna be hurt. People are gonna hurt our feelings.
I feel no pain.
People gonna hurt your body.
I feel no pain.
And so when you get those painful feelings that we all get, but Israel don't feel.
Most of you get.
Right. When you get that though, you need to know how to handle it. Do I shrivel up and just withdraw from the world? Or do I face it head on and figure out, okay, how do I deal with this so that I can be a better person and a stronger person going forward? So the same pains don't hurt me, and the same way that people hurt me, they're not allowed to do it in the future. But I need to learn from these things and not just run from them all the time. I need to continue to grow. So sometimes, like if you work out and you lift weights, when you lift in weights, it hurts. The more weight you put on, the more it's gonna hurt. But what's going to happen is you're going to grow. Your muscles will grow from the hurt. It's the same thing with every other part of you. Sometimes you have to stretch the muscle, put pressure on the muscle, if that's your heart or if that's your mind. You put pressure in order for it to be stronger. You don't just hide from it. Because if you never touch oil, you don't work out, or you don't do anything to exercise your physical, your body will become soft and flabby and weak. Same thing is going to happen with your mind and your heart. If you don't allow some pressure to come in at time and to stretch that muscle, to work that muscle, it's going to become weak. So don't be afraid, to set boundaries but not build walls. We look at, growth sometime and we think about, or like, I'll use the word change, and it's change as it's a negative thing. So, and change is not negative. It's something that happens when you grow. Who you are at the core of your person may be what it is. I don't know. It is what it is. However, do I want to take that person, that core of me, and make him better? Make her better. I need to do that because, again, it's going to help me as I get older to be a more well-rounded person, able to deal with situations, able to deal with different people in order for my life to be well-rounded and stronger.
Essentially, you don't have to change yourself to change your behaviors and habits.
See, that's that psychology stuff that he go to school for.
I've just been person for a long time, man.
So that and that's true. But your core person didn't change, but at the same time, bad habits need to change. Even some good habits may change over time because I may not need that particular habit in these situations, so I learn how to use them differently. But who I am is still who I am. People use, he's a really nice kid. I'm still a nice kid, but
all right.
But I got like issues that I had to work through and become a better person. Don't change, who my mommy loved. My mommy loved me for who I was, and she was one of those people, You know, she ain't never say I was perfect the way I was. She always knew I had issues. So, but she still made me feel good about me. And that's what we could do with our children and other people, make them feel good about themselves, but then also let them know, you know, you better than this. Set some standards. See, when you tell people they're perfect, they ain't got no, and you don't set a standard, or you tell them they're perfect, it's kind of hard to set a standard to grow. Because if I'm perfect, why are you telling me I need to do this? Because I'm already perfect. But I'm going to tell you that, yeah, you should be cool with who you are. But there's areas of growth that you can tackle. There's a standard, a higher standard that you now need to go to. And those are conversations that you have not only with yourself, but also with people that you surround yourself in your life. And you got to make sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people so that you can, can continue to grow. Now, what you don't want to do is make, a bunch of excuses. Look, we got excuses. We avoid accountability. People, you make excuses and to avoid responsibility for your actions. If you avoid the responsibility of your action, how can you ever grow from your action? You have to take it. Look, everything you do will not be right. And that's fine. But if I learn from it, then it's cool. I'll make a mistake. I apologize for whoever I need to apologize. I make amends for whatever I need to make amends for. But then I move on and don't do the same things over again. But I can't just avoid accountability. A lot of times, we don't want, you can't be that individual that avoids being judged harshly. It's like, I don't want nobody to say nothing bad about me, or I can't, I don't take that. Look, sometimes you need somebody, hopefully you got a friend or a family member, somebody in your life that can tell you when you stink. They need to tell you, yo, you stink, bro. Your actions are foul. You need people in your life like that so that you can see it and not run from it. And look, and if you watch the media at all right now, this protecting your self-image will get you in a lot of trouble. If you watch the media, and I don't want to bring up things that's going on, but you know what's going on in the news right now and on trials right now. That self-image and that real life, two different things. But because you were trying to protect that and maintain a self-image, all the dirt was swept under the rug, but it's still there. Never really dealt with it. All the issues were still there, but nobody was dealing with it because you were trying to protect the self-image. The world, what the world sees, what people see, and what it's going to lead you is to have that deception of who you really are. And now you're confused about who you are because you're trying to protect an image, or it's like, yo, I know this behavior, I got to justify this behavior. I got to make this, what people don't see it a certain way. And then sometimes, it's people just have a fear to deal with certain issues. So you make an excuse for your behavior because you don't want to look at the fact that you're afraid of what you have accomplished, haven't accomplished, or the fact that it may all go away at some point. So you don't even address it. But the thing of it is, everything you have, the things that you get, it's not about it going away, but it evolve with you. But it can if you're real about it and you deal with the issues. It's important. It's so important for you to have growth. Again, growth in your relationships, personal growth. That's going to make it evolve in your communication, your empathy, and your understanding. So if a lot of times, if you pay attention to all the stuff we talk about communication all the time. You have to learn to communicate. That's going to help you in your relationship. That's a growth. It's learning to communicate with that person, with other people, learning to have empathy. When you learn and you grow in these areas, your relationships will improve. It's also going to help you with your professional life. If you grow, broaden your skill sets, broaden your network, it's going to help in your professional life. But if you just stay there and don't want to grow and don't want to change, then you're looking back and wondering why I've been on this job for 20 years. I'm still doing the exact same thing. Why? Because you've never grown. There's no change in the stuff that you're doing. So where would your growth come from? You can't have growth if you ain't working to get growth. That's all you, bro. So you got to put that work in to say, okay, I need to change. I need growth in my life. I need to make sure that as I'm looking back or looking forward, I have goals and I'm working toward these goals. And as I'm working toward these goals, that's going to require me to not be the way I am right now. Either that's how I treat people, that's how I treat myself, and that's how I put in that work to get the things I need. I need to change. I'm telling you, and I've said this before, if you look at your relationship, and if you've been in a relationship for any amount of time, that relationship has changed. For the good or for the bad. But it will, and it has changed if you've been in a relationship. So now, how it changes, if it's going to grow versus if it's going to die, will depend on you and your partner in your evolution of how y'all treat each other and how you treat yourself. So do I want my relationship to grow? Then that means I put in some work to learn some new things, understand my partner better, understand how to treat myself better so I can love them better, understand how to communicate better, understanding how to sometimes just be quiet. All those things will help your relationship. But you got to learn them. And you can't do what you did when you first met the person. Because in reality, when I first met you, everything was cool. I just let it go. You said this or you said it a certain way. It didn't bother me because it's fresh, it's new. She cool. She's so fine. She's so pretty. This and that. And you let stuff slide.
You do let mad stuff slide in the beginning.
Yeah,
mad stuff.
All this, and then a year later, or y'all been, once y'all locked in, it's all of a sudden like, I hate the way she suck her teeth when she eating. It's like the stupidest stuff that you like. But in the beginning, it didn't matter. Now I notice everything. So your relationship will grow and change and evolve over time, but you got to be on top of it, working it. And the same thing at work. You got to be on top of your business, whatever that is. Learning the job, not just the way it's done when I started, but where is it going? Get in front of it so that when they come out with these new tools and new computer things that I'm going to have to use, that I'm learning those ahead of time so I can be in front of the curve. We going to keep evolving, people. Life is, that's just the way it is. You will either grow or you will die. And I don't mean that in a figurative way because we all going to die, really. But I mean, I'm talking about you'll either grow in how you develop and treat people and how you allow people to treat you, or you'll just be stuck and there's no growth. There's just basically you're dead. There's no growth in you because you're afraid to change. You're afraid to stop being the way you are. We look at people and say, well, I've been in this relationship and it didn't work. Or this. And the common denominator in all your bad relationships is who?
Them.
It's always them.
Gotta be. Women.
So
what are y'all doing?
So treat me right. If you're the common denominator in all your relationships, the only person that's been in all your relationships is you. So there may be something in you, as opposed to stop looking at her or him and saying, well, he don't know how to treat a woman, or she don't know how to treat a man, or he don't know how to do this, or she don't. Hold up. You the only person been in all them relationships. So if they're all failing, it's not always other people. Sometimes you have got to look at how you can grow, so that one, when you get in a relationship, or as you're looking to define a relationship, you know what you need or what you want, so you can make better choices. But then two, how do I treat people so that the relationship can last? We got to grow, people. We can't stay stuck in the same thing over and over and over again. We can't keep doing that. You got to be willing to put in that work. Growth is good. Say it with me, people. Growth is good. It's nothing wrong with it. You have to be willing to take it on. I'm telling you, my relationship with my wife is so much better than when we started. We went through the same stuff everybody else go through early in marriages, where, in the first few years, 4 or 5 years, you like, yo, I need to get out of this. I don't want to be with her. She don't want to be with me. For usually stupid reasons.
First 5 years.
Yeah, that's usually when you hit that wall or so. You kind of like, oh, I'm tired of this. But then, what you learn, or what I've learned, and I think what my wife has learned, is that it's not about her. And she's learned it's not about me. She got to fix her. I needed it to fix me. I got issues that I needed to start focusing on. And when I start focusing on my issues, all of a sudden, what I thought was her wasn't there anymore. But my growth helped me to see those things. Before, it was easy to blame and put all the issues on what I thought she was or wasn't. But when I started looking at myself and start working on myself, I started saying, oh, I can do this better. I can love her a little bit better. I can make sure I'm there for her when she needs me at all times. It's things that I needed to do, not what she needed to do. And I focused on those things, and we got better. So what I'm telling you in this is, don't be afraid to grow. Don't be afraid to learn. Continue to learn. I don't care if you are 20, 17, 18, 20, 25, 30, 65, 70, 80. Whatever your age, continue to learn, continue to grow, continue to make yourself better, so that you can experience the best from other people. Make yourself better so you can experience the best from other people. And don't look to blame everybody or not take accountability for your own actions. Don't make excuses. Maybe you're not a nice person right now. Maybe you do have some anger issues. Maybe you're not the most trustworthy of person right now. But you can change that. Everything you can grow and be better than you are right now. So don't just accept it or don't make excuses for it. Learn and grow and change. Be better. Be better. Some people like you, yes, and you like, I got friends. Cool. But don't mean you can't have better relationship with the friends you have. And don't mean you can't meet some new friends. New people can like you too. You don't have to have that same one friend from kindergarten. And maybe they don't even like you. They just accepted you because they've been around you for so long. They may not even like you.
They got used to you.
Yeah. They're like, it's better to have them around, I guess. So, again, you just got to make sure you continue to grow. Continue to look for ways to learn new things from new people, good people. Put people in your life that's going to help you grow and help you make better decisions. But also call you out when you're wrong. You need friends that's going to tell you you're wrong. And that's going to help you grow. So, again, like I said, Don't give up. Continue to grow, man. Continue to learn. So we're gonna ask the people what they think, and then kind of get some hits. So Israel, what the people saying right now, man?
Well, I'm running down the numbers, and the people have a couple of questions actually. So first off, the people want to know hypothetically. All this you're not perfect talk. What if you are perfect?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just can you speak that out a little bit? Just tell me, like, what if somebody
right
has absolutely nothing that they can change,
right,
or no way to get better because they're as great as they can be,
right,
and they can't. It's impossible to get any better at anything.
Impossible. I get
like
that.
What if they're struggling with that?
Yeah,
because I feel like that's a real issue that somebody like me would have.
And so what I would say is that person would be contradicting themselves if they were struggling with being perfect, because if you're perfect, you wouldn't have struggles. So therefore, perfection may not be their issue. Their issue is their struggle. So it's, like I said, that perfection thing, if they're perfect, they don't have that struggle. So it's not an issue to even talk about right now. But for the rest of the world, there is no perfection, people. Stop looking for perfection and look for growth.
Second question. Do you think your wife agrees with that 5-year thing, and can we bring her down and ask?
My wife may not have 5 years, might have been 2. Might have been a year and a half. Her time frame, her time for wanting to leave might have came a lot sooner than mine. I don't know. It might last even longer. I don't know. So I can't say that she agreed with it. I'm just saying, I'm speaking for myself. So yeah, hers might have started after the first 2 days and be like, yo, I'm tired of this boy. So I don't know. But, all I'm saying is where we are now is good. So look, so no matter when it started for her, she's hung in there. So it's all good. So
the people are satisfied.
All right. As long as the people satisfied, because that's what I'm at. Look, I'm a man of the people. I want to give the people what they want.
And thus far, you've been doing an amazing job, might I say.
I appreciate that. I think, we try to strive to, as the song say, give the people what they want. So as we do that, we are, I think, excelling in this thing right now.
One could say growing.
We are. And I will tell y'all, for some of you, go back to the first podcast.
Oh, word. Or don't.
There's been growth. Yeah. We've been changing. We're trying to get better. We're a lot more comfortable. And again, we still work in progress. We're not looking for perfection in this thing, but we are looking to continue to grow and change. So you should too. All right.
And speaking of growth, Season 2 will be out soon, and hopefully there will be even more evolution.
That's right. We'll see. And so, like we always say, we want y'all to do something for us. We want you to. What we want them to do?
Oh, are you talking about the thing where they spread information?
Yeah, that part.
Oh yeah. So guys, we want you to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend. If that friend has a friend, we're going to need them to tell that friend too.
Right.
Until all friends are told.
If they don't have no friends, tell yourself over and over again because you ain't got no friends. Just keep telling you.
Yeah. Well, talk to you. Just make a social media account and just follow a bunch of people. And,
right.
Tell them.
Random people just follow random people.
Don't have to be friends for honestly.
We had a lot of people join our Instagram account recently, and they just saw that, like clips, and they decided to join, which is cool. I don't know them, but I'm happy they joined it. Yeah. So I want them to do the same thing. Don't just listen to the clips. Listen to the whole thing, because when you listen to the clips, sometimes you can be a little confused, and you might think something that's being said. You may take it out of context. Mm-hmm. Listen to the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Plus, I don't be in the clips like that. So.
Yeah. You listen.
Obviously, you want to hear my voice, so,
right?
And
so you got to remember, people. So if you go back, we want y'all to once again tell
a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, so on.
That's it. And that's all we want y'all to do. And we will keep doing what we do, and we will get at y'all next time.
Like and subscribe. We'll keep it coming.
So until next time, people.
Thank you for joining us in the studio with Rob. He is Rob. I just look like him. Bye.
Peace.
Studio. We in the studio. We in the studio. With Rob in the studio. In the studio. In the studio. Catch a vibe in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. With Rob. We in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. Catch a vibe. Yeah, I'm in the studio with Rob. I need to make the heat flicker. Izzle on it, only thing can make a Rico beat sicker. So listen and get your wisdom. Gemstones on your head. Good with the OG like Flintstones, good in bed. Been living a long time and he got something to say. Depending on how you feeling, dog, you might got something to pray. This type of influence that you ain't gotta filter through your liver. We in the studio with Rob. Come let the heat rock simmer.